thank you, Professor Dubey, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on this very sad and distressing occasion. Like everybody else, I too was very, very shocked to hear when this news came, and just could not come to terms with the idea that someone who was so active and so energetic and should have had so many more years ahead of life to be able to continue to do what he was doing so passionately and continue to fight to get children the right to education. Someone like him was no more. It was really very, very shocking and very distressing. My association with Ambarish Ji goes back to the time, like with many others, to the conception of the right to education movement, possibly in 2010, maybe, when among other issues with regard to education that he was taking up to protest against and be able to advocate for the inclusion in the right to education legislation, early childhood education at that time had been left out of the ambit of the right to education legislation. And that was a huge omission, especially at a time when internationally early childhood education was being recognized as a key stage for laying a sound foundation for education for life. Ambarish Ji understood this very well, the importance of this omission and the need for its inclusion. And he took up this cause with a lot of zest, made it his own cause, and incorporated it into the RTE advocacy. I recall year after year, when they used to have the annual stock taking in March, he always made this issue a very prominent issue in the stock taking and in the advocacy, and provided the ECE community platform to share our views with all stakeholders and be able to spread the message around. So he had, I think, a very major, significant contribution to make in being able to really advocate for early childhood care and education for the youngest child. And to some extent, I would say that the inclusion of this in the emphasis in the new education policy can be attributed to this very, very aggressive movement that he had initiated. Ambarish Ji, from whatever I recall of him, what really struck me about him was his whole approach to advocacy, which was full of enthusiasm, full of zeal. He, I think what made him stand apart was this ability to be able to persuade, to be able to motivate and mobilize people to join the advocacy, the cause, and the ability to strategically plan the advocacy in ways so that he could really involve in his fora, in whatever forum that he created. One would see really a range of people, as somebody said, including key influencers such as parliamentarians, main known experts from all over, from all other institutions, who all had a voice at the highest levels, and he knew that they would be able to carry his voice to the levels where it matters. So I think that his whole journey was one of complete dedication and perseverance. And as Professor Kumar said, undeterred despite the huge challenges that education has been seeing and experiencing over the last few years. My heart goes out to his family, for whom this must indeed be an irreparable loss. And the only solace one can provide to them is to say, here was a life lived for a very commendable cause, and he lived it very well. In conclusion, I would only like to say that while we mourn his absence today, we must also simultaneously celebrate the fact that we all had the good fortune to be a part of this exceptional journey. And it behooves us to now get together and make a determination to continue this journey forward, to ensure the right to high quality education for every Indian child. For that should have been the logical destination for his journey as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.